Since humanity was born on ancient Terra, they have looked up at the stars. Birth and death, salvation and slaughter, creation and destruction, endless wars erupting and extinguishing one after another, ancient civilizations rising and falling. Perhaps this is both the nature of the human heart and the price the species must pay to venture into deep space. Regardless, these costs are not easily forgotten. Even after the 40th millennium, they still haunt human souls. After a long period of development, by the 15th millennium, humans began to leave their mother planet using sublight speed spacecraft. Stepping out of the solar system, they began to colonize surrounding star systems. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and the moons of Neptune all bore human footprints and colonies. As colony ships flew toward increasingly distant galaxies, some settlements were so far from Earth that, relying on sublight speeds, the journey required generations or even dozens of generations to complete. These distant colonies slowly evolved into self-sufficient powers, independent of their mother star in the solar system. In the 18th millennium, warp engines were developed. These advanced and powerful machines could tear a rift in the physical universe, allowing ships to enter the warp for navigation. The warp is a world of pure energy. It is like a mirror of the material universe, influenced by real space, yet entirely different. Conventional time, space, and laws of physics cannot explain the movements within the warp. Although unpredictable, complex energy flows and other issues made warp travel dangerous, ships equipped with warp engines could utilize the instability of time and space within the warp to achieve faster-than-light travel. Voyages that previously took centuries could now be completed in mere months. This era-defining aerospace technology greatly accelerated human expansion among the stars. Distant colonies that were previously unreachable due to technical limitations began to communicate closely with humanity in other locations. Technology developed rapidly during this period. Humanity invented the standard template construct, STC technology for convenient production, as well as powerful artificial intelligence. However, behind the development of civilization, most people did not realize the true danger of the warp or its true face. From within the mirror, eyes were silently watching the growth of the human race.
By the 22nd millennium, more and more Psykers appeared among the population. Psykers are a mutation of humanity. They can sense the existence of the warp and can use warp energy through mental power, either voluntarily or uncontrollably. Although the abilities of these Psykers were scientifically proven for the first time in this era, they were not the first individuals to possess such special talents. It is said that long before humans went to space, in the barbaric ages, people like shamans in ancient tribes had already learned and mastered techniques to utilize these special talents. Later, the first batch of special mutants, known as navigators, was put into the work of warp navigation. These special astronauts possessed the navigator gene. Acting as pilots and aided by the powerful technology of the time, they could observe the hard-to-predict energy flows in the warp, guiding ships safely and accurately toward their destinations. The appearance of navigators allowed ships to travel further and faster through the warp, further promoting the development of human civilization. By this time, the map of human power had expanded to almost the entire scope of the Milky Way. Countless worlds were colonized and developed, and countless powerful technologies were invented. People of this era lived in an enlightened, wealthy, yet arrogant society. The power of technology became truth, and human regimes completed their unification under the glory of technology. During this period, humans also encountered extraterrestrials and waged wars against these Xenos forces. However, powerful technology ensured humanity won these conflicts, and dozens of Xenos forces signed non-aggression treaties with humanity. Civilization reached its zenith, and this era was later known as the Golden Age of Technology. However, as the saying goes, the moon waxes only to wane, and extremes turn to their opposites. The glorious Golden Age ended rapidly in the years that followed. In the 23rd millennium, the artificial intelligence that humanity had created to serve them betrayed their creators for reasons that remain unknown. The former machine servants began to view humanity as enemies, sparking an unprecedented and tragic war. The scale of this AI rebellion was so massive that countless later wars paled in comparison. Stars were destroyed, continents on planets were thrown whole into the sky, and nanobots capable of devouring entire worlds raged across planets.
The detailed records of this war have long been lost, but in the end, humanity won the victory through painful casualties. From then on, artificial intelligence technology was strictly prohibited. Human creations could no longer possess independent intelligence and personality as they once did. Future machines could only complete single tasks pre-programmed by technicians. This war made humanity understand the uncontrollability of AI and brought a swift end to the Golden Age. But this was only the beginning of a series of tragedies. Just as humanity had dealt with the AI rebellion, in the 25th millennium, massive warp storms appeared. The once commonplace warp travel became perilous adventures. Ships hit by turbulent energy flows in the warp might appear in locations completely opposite to their destinations or crash out of control. Sometimes these ships could not even break free from the warp, remaining trapped inside for hundreds or thousands of years. Terrifying, inhuman low roars echoed from the depths of the warp. These storms virtually paralyzed traffic routes across the entire galaxy, and the human colonies scattered among the stars were once again isolated one by one. Due to the sudden loss of contact with the outside world, many worlds fell into chaotic anarchy. Former Xenos neighbors began to loot and attack isolated human colonies. Yet these were not the most serious problems. The gravest issue was that along with the warp storms came a surge in genetic mutations among the population. Countless mutants and psykers suddenly appeared in societies across various worlds. These massive numbers of genetic mutants caused sustained chaos in society. Some worlds that did not react strongly enough were even directly controlled by groups of psykers and mutants. As the warp storms continued for hundreds of years, civilizations on these worlds began to regress. Technology was continuously lost, and systems collapsed. Some colonies even turned into ignorant, dim, feudal societies rife with superstition, while civilizations on more remote planets regressed directly to the Stone Age. Even humanity's mother star, Earth, Terra, fractured into a wasteland world fought over by techno-barbarians, warlords, mutants, and psykers. Mars, once the largest industrial base located in the solar system, formed a fanatical religion that worshipped and mythologized technology, the Adeptus Mechanicus, due to centuries of isolation.
Some planetary governments survived relatively intact through authoritarian power, but their systems and technology suffered varying degrees of degeneration and loss.
In the depths of the universe, on some isolated planets controlled by Psykers, the most bizarre and terrifying legends occurred. Swarms of demons broke through the barrier between reality and illusion on these worlds. They poured out from the warp, harvesting and sacrificing entire planets. This was a dark age, the Age of Strife. Human civilization collapsed like a crumbling tower. Countless powerful technologies were forgotten, and former virtues and progress were abandoned, leaving only constant chaos and mutual slaughter. From then on, humanity could never return to the peak of the Golden Age. Just at the most critical moment for the entire civilization, a man appeared. No one knows his real name, and his past is shrouded in a mist of mystery. But in the years that followed, his title would be chanted countless times by desperate humans across the galaxy. He is the Emperor. Information about the Emperor is very scarce. It is only known that the Emperor existed long before the first human city was built. He is a perpetual with powerful psychic powers. The Emperor loves his human compatriots. Throughout history, he is always hidden among the crowd, silently accumulating knowledge and guarding his race. He looked far ahead for humanity and helped the advancement of civilization in different eras under different identities, sometimes a scientist, sometimes a politician, sometimes a religious leader. During the Emperor's long life, he learned how to strengthen and skillfully manipulate his psychic abilities, making him the most powerful psyker among humans. The Emperor knew the truth of the warp. The warp is far from as simple as humans previously perceived. Yes, it is like a mirror of the real world, reflecting all the thoughts, emotions, and spirits of intelligent beings. In the early history of the galaxy, species had not developed to be too powerful, and their various thoughts and emotions faded as energy flowed in the warp. But as more intelligent races rose, their emotions increased. Eventually, several of the most powerful and concentrated thoughts formed independent thinking entities within the warp, the Chaos Gods. These evil gods are composed of pure thoughts of intelligent beings. They pursue the most intense and extreme desires and emotional expressions of sapient life, the longing for life, the obsession with knowledge, the lust for slaughter, and so on. Under normal circumstances, the Chaos Gods and the warp creatures composed of their consciousness fragments, demons, are restricted inside the mirror of the warp. However, whenever intelligent beings in the material universe undergo intense emotional fluctuations due to extreme events like large-scale wars or fanatical religious crazes, and these are projected into the warp, the Chaos Gods and their minions can use this power to break through the barrier of real space, opening a door to the material universe to seek more emotions and stimulation. At the same time, Psykers, who are connected to warp energy, are gateways that the Chaos Gods can use to enter reality. Because of their special constitution, whenever Psykers use their powers, their projection in the warp becomes as bright as a flame, attracting the attention of warp creatures.
Psykers with insufficient will or unskilled techniques can be invaded by demons through their warp projection into their physical bodies in the real world, becoming a gate connecting the two planes. And now, with the collapse of civilization and the sudden emergence of a large number of Psykers on various human worlds, humans spread throughout the galaxy are exuding various intense emotions. This is exactly what the warp creatures want to see. Many planets that failed to suppress Psykers have spread rumors of demons rampaging. As human rationality collapses, the Chaos Gods will only become stronger and stronger, devouring more worlds. This is exactly what the Emperor needs to stop. Through his profound knowledge, he realized that for certain reasons, the warp storms that had lasted for thousands of years were about to subside. The time had come. The Emperor would once again step into the spotlight of history to help humanity avoid destruction by the warp. To achieve this goal, the first thing the Emperor had to do was unify the current Earth, ancient and war-torn Terra. To unify humanity's motherworld from the warlord forces, the Emperor used the wisdom he had accumulated over tens of thousands of years to create an army composed of fierce genetically engineered soldiers, the Thunder Warriors. The Thunder Warriors were genetic modification troops built by the Emperor in the early stages. They all underwent extensive physical enhancement. Compared to their successors, the Thunder Warriors were not very stable, their bodies decayed quickly, and their lifespans were not long.
But they were more savage, strong, and efficient. They were born for the Unification Wars. Leading the loyal Thunder Warriors, the Emperor soon ended the Unification Wars. By the 30th millennium, the Emperor had swept away all remaining warlord forces on Earth and established a regime known as the Imperium. At the same time, the Emperor overthrew all existing religious beliefs among the population. Piles of scriptures were burned, and temples were toppled one after another. The Emperor concealed the truth about the existence of evil gods in the warp. He wanted to fundamentally weaken the influence of chaos forces on the human spirit by eliminating people's superstition regarding supernatural phenomena. In this new Imperium, only one philosophy would be promoted: the Imperial Truth. The Imperial Truth required people to believe in science, maintain rationality, reject religious superstition, and uphold that humanity is superior to all other intelligent species and will become the master of the galaxy. Now, starting with the Imperium born on ancient Terra, the blueprint for revival that the Emperor constructed for humanity was taking shape step by step. This time, he was determined to shoulder all responsibilities, leading the species to completely break free from the shackles of the warp and dominate the entire galaxy once again. After completing the unification of Terra, the Emperor immediately threw himself into his next plan. Just as he expected, with the fall of the alien Eldar race and the shockwave caused by the birth of a new evil god in the warp storms across the galaxy were dissipating. This was the signal that the time was ripe. Under the Emperor's planning, the new Imperium was growing stronger day by day. Humanity's ancient mother star would serve as the starting point for all subsequent operations. New methods of warp navigation and communication were being established. Legions composed of more stable, genetically enhanced soldiers were taking shape. Those humans who had been isolated for thousands of years would be found again. Humanity would once again gather under the same banner, under the same regime. In the name of the Emperor, the Great Crusade was about to begin.